Hello! So, Expansive Worlds has finally dropped a proper teaser trailer for the upcoming reserve. We've had a few interesting clues being dropped on social media as to whereabouts in the world Doc has been travelling, but we've actually got the final location now. So it turns out we are travelling to a place called theHunter Savannah, which they've said is in Botswana, though I assume the actual location is fictional, like the other reserves we have. And they've also released a list of the species that will be available to hunt. So the species available are blue wildebeest, Cape buffalo, lesser kudu, scrub hare, side-striped jackal, springbok, and warthogs. So 7 completely new species to hunt. I imagine there'll also be, it's not been mentioned, but there must be some kind of new gear. I imagine there's at least one new gun that'll be released. So I can't wait for this thing to drop. I'll be buying it instantly, and there will definitely be a release video for when the reserve goes live. And along with the teaser trailer they released, there was a little bit of backstory as to why we were going to this East African reserve. So apparently, having served as a warden in Leighton Lake, Hirschfelden and Medved Tiger, you now return to East Africa at the request of your grandfather, and I won't try and pronounce that because there's no way I'll get it right, senior warden of theHunter Savannah. While you've been away, poachers have forced threatened species like the rhino, elephant and lion to be transferred to a safer location. Their absence has shocked the ecosystem and been led to disease outbreaks. I don't think that's a proper sentence, CW. Harming the remaining species. It's up to you to use your unique skills as a hunter to do what you can to bring balance back to the ecology. So they've tried to explain why some of the predators and the larger animals aren't available to hunt. EW is they like to do that. They don't like us to hunt any endangered animals or protected species, things like that. So they've added this bit of backstory to explain why they won't be available in this reserve, which is fair enough. That makes sense. But yeah, we still have 7 new species. They all look very different and fresh. So it'd be great to get some new animals in, and I don't think we'll be missing those larger animals really. So moving on to the actual animals we'll have available, we get a quick look at a couple of them in the teaser trailer. There's the buffalo, obviously, slowly walking towards the camera, a little herd of them, and then we get a tiny glimpse of what I think are the springbok, but they're significantly further away. You can't really get a proper look at them at all. But going into further detail on these animals, I am not a hunter in real life and I know very little about these things, so I'm probably just going to try and compare them to the animals we currently have in-game to try and keep things simple. So going down the list of what they have announced, we've got the blue wildebeest, and they seem to be one of the larger animals that are going to be on the reserve. I would probably compare them to things like the elk, maybe up to the moose kind of size. That's how they look to me anyway. Then we have the buffalo, and they look very similar to the bison, the European bison we have on Hirschfelden. That's the kind of size I'm thinking for them. And then we got the lesser kudu, which I would compare to the whitetail possibly. Maybe slightly smaller, but they'll probably put them in the same kind of area as whitetail. We'll then have the scrub hare, which are obviously going to be very similar to the rabbits we have already in Leighton. I was reading the wiki on them, and apparently they vary in size greatly, but they get smaller the further south you go, and Botswana's pretty far south, so we're not going to have any giant hares or anything. We then have springboks, which are a very small species of deer type things. See, I'm not an expert, not by a long shot. They look to be a similar size to roe deer to me. They look very small. So that's what I'm thinking for those. Then we got the side-striped jackal, which again I imagine will be similar to the foxes and the coyotes that we already have on our 2 reserves. And finally we have the warthog, which look to be a slightly smaller boar from what I can see. So there you go, we've got a nice variety. They all look very different to what we have. I love the look of the springbok's antlers. They look really cool. As well as the kudu with their curly antlers, kind of like corkscrews. So I'm looking forward to seeing those and the different sizes and variations of antlers. Although it would be nice if we had, what's that system they have in Classic? True Rack, where they have different variations and non-typical antlers. It'd be great if we could get that in Call of the Wild at some point. So EW, if you're watching, that's my request, along with trophy lodges and trophy shots, so we can get some proper photos of any decent kills we find. Yeah, those are my requests. So I think that's just about all we know about the new reserve so far. EW will be doing a first look at gameplay on the new reserve on their standard Tuesday stream, so be on the lookout for that. Hopefully they'll show us some other things that they haven't mentioned yet, perhaps a new weapon or two, and maybe some gear, stuff like that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Give me a like if you enjoyed, found this information useful, and subscribe for more. Bye!